This is Gerald Brentz. I'm with Johnny Ringo, head coach of the Plano East Panthers. And Coach Ringo, you've really got to be proud of your kids. You lost 3 really tough district games in a row, and then to go on the road against a team that had been, was right in it, had been winning, and beat Hebron on the road at the Woodshed. You got to be proud.
Well, I really am. The kids did an awesome job of hanging in, giving great effort all night long. Our coaches did a tremendous job with the game plan, and as you said, they're 5-1, 3-0. Going over to the Woodshed, it's a tough place to play anytime you go on the road, and we pride ourselves on trying to be road warriors. We hadn't always happened this year. There's been times we let some games slip away, but to go into that hostile environment is their homecoming. A lot of things rocking and rolling for them, and for our kids to come away with a victory, and in the manner that we did was huge.
And you had some, let's face it, you played a very, very difficult schedule, very physical schedule. You had some kids that were banged up a little bit, and you had some great individual efforts, didn't you?
We really did. Corey Bassett was out, but Jared Beek stepped in at corner and did a great job for him. And defensively, Tobo Yobumseli and Dakota Smith. Dakota had a big bone-jarring tackle there at the end that knocked the ball loose. It probably was a difference in the game because we had kicked off after our last field goal there, Coach, and meant a sky kick or pooch, as you might call it, and it ended up being more like an onside. Kicker kind of mishit it, but bottom line, it ended up being a deal where we had a chance to get on the ball. Ball hits and goes from there, and we don't. So they have great field position, moved down the field a little bit, but then that was a big hit by Dakota that pretty much sealed the game. Still pretty good time left on the clock. We were able to march down the field, and the key thing for us in the second half was just the way we ran the football. Corey Wesley played well. Dante Taylor, Nathan Metters, both running backs, did a tremendous job. Big catches by Cody Verhulst at tight end, but I think the key in the second half for us was just we seemed to be more physical. We got after it a little bit. We were able to run the football and take some time off the clock. Casey Collins with his field goal kicks and point after attempts was huge. And so, we don't get those field goals, we don't win the game. And we had a chance right there at the end of the game maybe to go in and score, which point-wise may come back with this positive, negative points and standings. But at that point in time, all we wanted to do was, to get out of there with a win. That was the most important priority, just because of where we'd been with our first 3 games, and not getting it done. And so, real proud of the kids the way we finished. They finished strong.
Okay, let's take a look at some of these highlights. All right, Coach. You know, District 85A, you're at 1-3 in the district, but that might be a little bit of the bad news. But the good news is that you're in a position to control your own destiny if you continue to play like you've been playing. Tremendous game against Flower Mound coming up this week. Cody Vanford, you know, they're going to score points.
Right.
But over at Kimbrough Stadium, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, they're in the race for their playoff lives as well. You know, they're currently 2-2 with wins over Plano and Louisville. So they were 0-2 to start the district race, and then the last 2 weeks they managed to win games. And you know, and they've been close. The Plano game could have gone either way there at the end, and Louisville they pretty much pulled away there. But they're a very explosive offensive team, as you well know and you've seen. They do a tremendous job with the passing game, you know, and so they're very explosive. They're going to get there, as we feel like, you know, and it almost becomes a game like a basketball game that you got to get a few stops down the stretch, you know, and then each time we have the ball, obviously, our goal is to get points out of that drive, and that's going to be the difference, I think, Friday night. You know, it's a huge opportunity for our kids. As you said, we control our own destiny, and we knew going into Hebron that, you know, hey, after being 0-3, the only way to get ourselves back in this thing was to run the table and pretty much, you know, get to 4-3. Some people have said 3-4, but when, you know, our only focus is Flower Mound and trying to get that second district victory and move forward from there. But they've got a tremendous football team. You know, they give up some points, but yet they're going to score a ton of points. And so special teams will be huge. And really in a game like that, and all of our games left with Plano and Louisville down the road as well, that, you know, they come down to, you know, play here or there. You know, who can make the fewer mistakes offensively, defensively, and in special teams.
I know you don't want to, probably aren't interested in talking about those last couple of games, but as you look from here on out, you know, Flower Mound this week, and then the Plano Senior High game next week, and then you finish up with Louisville home game, and so it's exciting times.
It really is, and it sets up. You know, our kids, like you said, we're playing well. We allowed some games to slip away, you know, and I'm sure that, you know, and again, as I've always said, you give those teams, if they win the game, you give them credit because they found a way to win the game in Plano West and Allen and Marcus. But we're playing well, and we just need to be able to finish like we did the other night against Hebron. But it is a very exciting time. You know, the weather's changed, a lot cooler now, and so it feels like fall and feels like football. And the key thing, as you said, you know, we get all 3 games are home games for us. Even though against Plano we'll be the visiting team, you know, we're playing in friendly environments at Clark Stadium and 2 games over at Kimbrough. So it sets up nice for us. All we got to do is go play now.
All right. Well, the Flower Mound Jaguars at the Plano East Panthers. That game will be at Kimbrough Stadium, 7:30 on Friday night. Coach, good luck. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Coach.